Thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. You're watching the Solid Sports and Gaming channel. As you're also watching the Solid Sports video blog. This is episode 120, a rare episode. I haven't been on it about 4 weeks. And today's date is April 25th. Had to check that. 2020. Thank you for joining me. I'm Troy West. Of course, hope everybody's staying safe with this coronavirus pandemic going on in the world. Like I said, I've been off for about 4 weeks and things haven't gotten that much better. There's a little glimmer of hope in certain ways, but just hope everybody stays safe. Like I said, I live in the state of Maryland, Baltimore, Maryland to be exact, Baltimore City. Things is crazy here. So hope everybody stays safe. Practicing the social distancing and everything else. Wearing your mask and everything. Hope everybody being safe. Go and do what they gotta do and go back home, you know. Even though I know it sucks for some people to be stuck in the house. I know certain people that like to go out that's driving them crazy. So hopefully this ends soon. But to be honest with you, you know, I'm just taking this thing one day at a time. Things change so drastically with this thing since it's gotten out of hand. So some states are even trying to open back up. Here our governor is taking the precautions, so we'll see. But just hope everybody's safe. Glad to be back on. Just want to get on, you know, a lot happened in a month. Well, not too much have happened, but at least there's some stuff to talk about now. The NFL draft started Thursday. I'm gonna touch on that. The Last Dance, the Bulls documentary. I'm gonna touch on that a little bit. And just, you know, just talk about other things, you know, how I've been dealing with this thing, this pandemic here. And guys for being on, still support me since I've been off. I read some of my comments this morning, so thank everybody who's still been supportive despite me not really turning out any videos. As far as my video game playthroughs, I haven't done none in a while. Only videos I was really posting was my Call of Duty videos, which I haven't even done that in a while. I wanted to do something since it's a new season 3. If you follow Call of Duty, you know exactly what that means. Just a new theme, you know, we get new weapons and everything, and new maps and stuff. So I kind of wanted to post something, so I might do that. But I wanted to chop it up, you know, just, you know, try to get back to normal because this pandemic thing is breaking everybody down. Like this week in particular, I've just had a rough week, so I wanted to try to get on here and express myself a little bit and talk about some sports finally, man. Like, I miss sports. It's killing me not to have any games, or of course it'd be the NBA playoffs right now if everything was somewhat normal in the world. Not knowing if the NBA going to finish the season to next month to find out that. Major League Baseball had a plan. It's kind of died down now. Say about 2 weeks ago, talking about going to Arizona, having all 30 teams go there and quarantine and play games not for the fans. But I guess that must have fell through. You'll hear too much more about that. And I don't think it can really. I'm not saying it was a bad idea, but I just didn't think that was going to take off because, first of all, you gotta keep the players quarantined. You probably gotta test them, all the time, probably after every game. Even though baseball, it's not that much of a cause. You know, they don't really get close to anyone that often. You know, so unless you're, you know, with your own teammates in the dugout. But other than that, like, far as like the actual game, it's not that much close interaction unless you slide into a base, getting tagged, or if you're on first base and the first baseman sort of, you know, shadowing you. Other than that, it's not a lot of close distancing. And basketball and football, of course, is, you know, much more contact sports, especially football. So, and I'm really hoping football season starts on time. That's why it was so good to have the draft for. And it was different because with the every day that's going on, it wasn't the normal draft when, you know, everybody get together and you get up on stage and shake the commissioner's hand and all that. The commissioner was at his home in the basement announcing the picks. So it's been kind of unique, but it's sort of still felt normal, you know, in a way. So it was just good to do that. But like I said, not that much happened. NFL has been pretty much in the news, so I'm gonna touch on that in a moment. But I guess I'll start by talking about the Last Dance, the Bulls documentary. I watched both the first 2 episodes. Probably the next day, because I think it comes on Sundays. Yeah, it comes on Sundays at 9 on ESPN, of course. And I think I watched it probably the next morning. Still fascinating, you know, because they sort of going, you know, they focusing on that final 97-98 season, you know, the Bulls' second three-peat season, when they beat the Utah Jazz for back-to-back, you know. Beat them twice, but won 3 in a row. Beat Seattle the first one, and the second three-peat, the first repeat. They even looked, you know, they go back to that with when Jordan first, you know, when the Bulls first broke through, they beat the Lakers. Sort of, you know, past power Lakers, but still, they was the Lakers in '91. Then, of course, beat Portland, beat the Bullet Trailblazers, Clyde Drexler, in the second one, and then the shit was Charles Barkley and the Suns. Now that Suns team, I think they really had a chance to beat the Bulls. I remember watching that series vividly. Like, that's when I really started around 92, 93. That's when I really started getting into sports. And like I said, I got into football first by watching the Super Bowl, and you know, started collecting basketball, football, baseball cards. Yeah, so around, like I said, about 90, 92, I started really getting into sports then. But yeah, that was like that Phoenix Chicago series. That was pretty much you know, things here and there. I think Phoenix could have at least forced a Game 7. Because remember, Game 6, John Paxson hit the 3, which they probably showed. I think they showed in one of the episodes. And then this play gets forgotten, but I mean, it still was a hitty play by Horace Grant. It came through the lane, and he blocked the shot on the final possession, because that only put the Bulls up 1, I believe, when Paxson hit that 3. So yeah, so like that Phoenix series, I think they really was challenging that series. Charles Barkley had a monster series as well as Michael Jordan as well. But another thing that stood out to me was how Scottie Pippen was treated. Well, how the front office was so bad, period. Even though I heard about that back in the time when everything was going on, that the front office was the reason why the team broke up. You know, telling Phil Jackson he ain't coming back. No matter what they did, they wound up winning the championship. He still wound up getting let go. Jerry Reinsdorf, the owner, Jerry Krause, the GM. Really, Jerry Krause is getting a lot of blame, which he deserves it. Like, his ego pretty much destroyed that. And you know, then there's been scenarios of like, well, what if Jordan would have never retired? Would he have won those 2 against the Houston Rockets? Of course, they won 2 when he was out. I honestly think that Houston would have challenged the Bulls just because of Elijah Wan. Like, just nobody would have been able to stop a king. But it'd been interesting to see. I think the Bulls probably still would have beat the Rockets, but Hakeem Olajuwon would have dominated if he wanted to. So a lot of different scenarios, like the other topic that came up, like with teams, like other dynasties who could have beat these Bulls team. Of course, the Warriors come up because that's the. I think it depends. I think the Warriors. I would still pick the Bulls, but I think the Warriors because they can shoot threes. And if you add Durant, now I don't know if you said. I guess you got to include Durant in it. Like the Warriors, you know, they started 5 for sure. I think they bench would have hurt them against the Bulls. Shaq came out and said his the 3-peat Lakers from 2000 to 2002. That Lakers dynasty would have beat the Bulls. Now he would have dominated as well. Like they had nobody that was able to stop Shaq, especially in that's when Shaq was in his prime. So Luke Longley, Bill Whittington, nobody, whoever, Bill Crawford, none of them would have. Nobody would center the Bulls. Bulls never had really predominant center at all. So Shaq would have had his way. Now, you know, the dynamic is Kobe against Mike. but I think Kobe was still coming into his own. Like I said, Kobe came into his own in that 2000s when they won the first championship. I think that's where Kobe arrived. So that would have been interesting, that matchup, Michael and Kobe. But I think they would have killed each other. I think Scottie would have been the difference. Scottie Pippen and Dennis Rodman would have been the difference. Now, Ron Harper is on both teams, so I don't know how that would work. I think he was a starting point guard. Well, he was part of that. I know Derek Fisher was in the main. So I guess I'll give Ron Harper to the Bulls more than to the Lakers. So Derek Fisher was more part of that. But that would be an interesting matchup. I think that would have been interesting. You got Robert Horry as well. AC Green, I think an older AC Green was on that Lakers team. So that would have been interesting. Maybe I would probably take the Bulls. But I think Shaq got a reason to say what he said. Now to go back before the Bulls, the Celtics in the 80s or the Lakers in the 80s. Now I think I think the Bulls, I don't know. Now this is before my time, but Lakers having like I said, another center in Kareem Abdul-Jabbar who gets no respect at all. Like I think when they come up to when it comes to best players of all time in basketball, he should be mentioned along with LeBron and Michael Jordan, which I'm gonna touch on in a minute because that's also came up again. But yeah, what Kareem Abdul-Jabbar done for the game, he should be brought up. But big men, especially now in today's way of thinking of basketball, big men, it's just something that you need. It's not, even though big men back in the 90s and before was the focal point. If you had a big man in the post, that was how you dominated basketball. With the 3-point shot open up with, like I said, even the Warriors took it to another level, but you got to give Mike D'Antoni credit. I think I said this before. Mike D'Antoni offense is pretty much what everybody's doing now. And like I said, he reminded me of Andy Reid, even though Andy Reid just won the Super Bowl with the Chiefs this couple of months ago. But I think once D'Antoni gets one, and I don't know if he will get it in Houston, but if he get a championship, I think that would change the whole perception about him. But he don't get a lot of credit because he haven't won himself. But what the Warriors are doing, what everybody's doing, is Mike D'Antoni offense. So, I just want to throw that out there. But to get back to who would challenge the Bulls, yeah, I think those Celtics and Lakers teams definitely would have had a shot against the Bulls. Just how deep they was. Both of them probably got multiple Hall of Famers on the team. And like I said, the Celtics had Robert Parrish. So yeah, so the center that's definitely the Bulls' weakness. That's would have been, you could get, you had the advantage there. All those teams, both Lakers teams from the 80s and the 2000s, and the Celtics with Robert Parrish. The center is the weakest, definitely the weak point of the Bulls. Even though Luke Longley held his own, Bill Cartwright did his thing. They did what they had to do. Can't discredit them at all. But as far as defensively, like imagine them trying to guard Shaq or Hakeem Olajuwon, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. It's just not gonna happen. So that would leave. We would have to double them and probably kick it out to somebody for an open shot. So it'd be tough, but it'd be real interesting. But I grew up in that era, in that Bulls era. Like I said, I really started following them in '92. Really like Blazer. Like I said, I seen that Blazer series as well, but I really was into it when they played Phoenix, that third championship. But yeah, the whole documentary is interesting. Definitely, if you ain't seen the first 10 episodes yet, you go probably on demand if you got cable. I watched it on the ESPN app. That's why I watched it. Definitely check it out if you're a younger fan and just don't know about the Bulls. Definitely a must watch. Like I said, the next 2 episodes come on tomorrow. Like I said, that topic has come up, like who can beat this Bulls team, and of course the LeBron and Michael Jordan debate again, which always comes up. Like I said, over the years, it was clearly Mike for me, and it's still Michael for me. He's still the best player of all time to me. But LeBron James, Yeah, he only won 3 championships. That's what everybody always go to. But his skill set definitely matches Michael Jordan's. Now, Michael Jordan's a better scorer, a better shooter. And mentally, you know, that's what separates the two. Michael Jordan mentally, which you will see in this documentary, or if you just watch the first 2 episodes, you will see it. Michael Jordan's mind was just so different. LeBron, he's more laid back as far as that, but at the same time, you can tell he wants to win. And his skill, he can rebound the basketball, he could guard all 5 positions on defense, especially when he wanted to. He's a floor general, like he's like a, you know, he's more tailored than Magic Johnson, but people have said that before. But can also jump out the gym, like he was way more athletic than Magic Johnson, you know. So, like I said, he's clearly number 2 to me. Now, first it was, you know, between him and Kobe. I like Kobe too. I grew up watching Kobe, you know, not just because of his death, you know, but Kobe was definitely, basically like Michael, you know, he was the closest thing to Michael Jordan when he played. Now Kobe had his moments, you know, off the court, which, you know, people, you know, since his death have tried to bring up, I think a little bit too much, but Kobe, he did his thing, you know. Kobe was, he was mentally just had the will to win. You know, the day between him and Shaq, you know, that's unfortunate. They could have probably won more titles. But he wound up winning 2 more on his own. Him and Pau Gasol. Pau Gasol, of course, a little underrated, but was a very skilled big man. Them two was able to get it done. You know, Kobe's up there for me. I probably have to think about it. I put together top 5, but LeBron to me is number 2 clearly. Like I said, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is probably 3. I probably put 4 would be debatable. I have to really think about it. But Kobe is definitely in my top 10 for sure as well. But it's definitely, I think you can have the conversation. Maybe some people, you know, some people is just like, no way, you know, it's Mike all the way. Like I said, if you go by accomplishments as well, it's no comparison. Right, it's no comparison. But on a skill set level, if you just separate, and even some of LeBron accomplishments. 8 straight finals. I don't care how weak the East was. I don't care about any of that. Going to 8 straight finals is a compliment. Just like now we look back at the compared to the NFL, like the Bills, which like every time I think about it, I get a headache. Like I can't imagine losing 4 straight Super Bowls, let alone getting to them. Losing 4 straight. Like that's just, man, like that's just gut-wrenching. But if you look back on it now, you know, it's been 20 years, I think now. Almost 30 years, because we're about to be in the 2020s now. So almost 30 years ago when the Bills did that. Basically, I think 2 of the games they had a chance to win. But that Giants game, they had a chance. I think the Norwood missed field goal. The Redskins game, they Redskins pretty much dominated. That's the first Super Bowl I ever seen. Redskins dominated that game. Dallas blew them out one of the games, one of the 2 when they played them back to back. But like that, you look back on that, they had a documentary about that. You probably can find that on ESPN when they go back, look back at that. Like that's crazy. Even though he didn't win, even though LeBron went to 8, he only won 3. He's been to 9 finals, you know, total. You know, he lost to the Spurs his first time. He got swept. But to take the Cavaliers franchise and rising from the ashes or whatever you want to call it, that franchise was, you're now. Look at them now without him. Like it's just garbage. Like I don't want to call it garbage, but it was garbage. Like and then the teammates he had around him. Now when he was in Miami, he had the talent around him, and I think they should have won more than 2. I will say that I think the Spurs sort of came out of nowhere. Kawhi kind of came out of nowhere, and beat them. Who else they lost to? Because they beat Oklahoma City in the first one. They played the Spurs twice, and then they lost. Oh, Dallas. Oh, can't forget Dallas. Dallas was the first one, the first year. Which I predicted that. I didn't think they was going to beat the Mavericks that year. Some people was looking at me, I was crazy. I was like, they're going to win next year, or the next 2, or the next 3. I thought they would win the next 3. And you know, people, well, of course, the one when they did beat the Spurs in 7 games. You know, the Ray Allen shot. People say if that didn't happen, so LeBron get criticized a lot. But going to 8 straight finals, period, is just a hell of a accomplishment, especially in today's game, when things don't last. The Warriors have been the 5 straight. That streak still, it was going to end this year, but going to 5 straight finals is an accomplishment. But like I said, I think you can have a conversation. I still would take Michael Jordan as well, but LeBron James deserves a lot more credit than he gets. So, I mean, some people say he gets too much credit sometimes, but I think like I said, he like when anybody exceeds my expectations, it's just hard for me. I'm with him. Like I respected him when he came to the league. He was a high school kid, but I was like, man, this. Because LeBron basically the same age. I think I'm about a year older than LeBron James, but I'm about to be 37 this year. I think he turns 36 in December, I believe. I think we like a year or so apart, something like that. I know I'm older than him by a month, by probably less than a year, whatever it is. Man, like he, I think he gets to. Well, to go back, I kind of lost track of what I was saying, but to go back to when he first came in, I thought he would just be, he'd be an all-star, be an average player, maybe win a championship, maybe, but I didn't think he was going to take over the game like he did, carry the Cavaliers for years the first time he was there. And the second time, he had more talent around him with Kyrie and Kevin Love, but, that didn't work out, all the time either, so he had to carry him at times there too. So I just think the man, not saying you can't criticize him at all, but I think some people over criticize the man, and I think he deserves credit. I think he's the second best NBA player I've ever seen. I'm just going to put it with what I think. So never know if anybody really watching this interview, comment. I like to comment. I like to debate a little bit or talk about it a little bit. So leave a comment below. I was about to tell y'all about if y'all ever heard of the Showtime. I think it's a podcast mostly, but with Steven Jackson and Matt Barnes, all that smoke. That's those guys, especially lately with the quarantine and shit. Like they just took it to another level. But they had Draymond Green on there. That's a must watch. I'm not gonna get too much into with Draymond. So Draymond pretty much kept it real. With the Warriors, how him and the Durant issue, that was a big. He was on for 2 hours. That was great. So that's on YouTube. Like all the stuff I'm talking about is also on YouTube. So definitely go check those things out. If you know what a sports is with Draymond Green, like he talked about with him and Charles beef, him and Charles Barkley. But Draymond Green, he's a unique player, But I like him because, like I said, he's going to go to bat for you. He's going to, look out for you, man. He going definitely. So, he's a real cat. Just the way he talks, like, that's why I like all that smoke, because it's a relaxed environment. You know what I mean? And people get to, speak your truth, like he was saying. Just go check it out. It's great. Pretty much all the guests they had on that. I think they had Deion Sanders on recently. Which other one I watched? It was kind of a short one. Gary Payton, that was in it. I used to like Gary Payton in the 90s. He was talking about how, he actually said he thought Seattle could have beat the Bulls. But they made an adjustment, I think, too late. I think he said something like that. Like he said if they'd have made that adjustment early in the series, that they could have probably even beat the Bulls. He think, because he actually was guarding Michael Jordan. Gary Payton, one of those dogs, man. Like, well, like I said, never been to Oakland, but Oakland is, you from Oakland back in his time, man. Oakland, you can't mess with Oakland. So he carried that on his chest. And he would talk some shit to you, man. Excuse my language, but he'd get in your head. Like he always like to get in your head. But I liked him, but I think he was I think he's sort of underrated because he didn't win a championship in his prime, but he won with Miami years later. and he tried to get one with the Lakers too. He talked about all that. So just check that whole, you know, like I just putting it out there as a fan, like, you know, go watch them because they cool. They be smoking a little bit, you know, getting all relaxed. I like Steven Jackson too. Steven Jackson, I like Matt Barnes as well. But Steven Jackson, man, I want him on my basketball team because I know he's gonna fight for me, man. I know he's gonna give it all he got every time he step on the court. And you can't teach that, man. Either it's in you or it's not. And I admire him for that, man. Like, you know. And then as a man, you know, now you get to know him, start to know him more as the person he is. You know, I mess with Steven Jackson, so definitely go check that out. All That Smoke is Showtime. Like I said, it's on YouTube as well, so definitely check that out. That's what I've been watching. I've been watching that. I've been watching old games, World Series games, NFL games. I haven't watched any old basketball games, but I know you can probably find some old basketball games. Speaking of the Bulls, there's some old Bulls games. So if you got a sports itch, definitely scratch it. You scratch it that way. But yeah, so definitely watch The Last Dance tomorrow too. Like that's all, you know. I've been watching all that stuff since this quarantine thing went down, which is, like I said, it's been killing me for the sports tip. All right, let's get into the NFL draft. You know, draft started Thursday. No huge surprises, especially in round one. Everything went sort of according to plan. Joe Burrow went number 1 to the Bengals. You know, that was a given. Chase Young went to the Redskins at number 2. And Detroit took a defensive back at number 3. I think he's from LSU. I can't pronounce his name. But Miami, not surprisingly, because I knew somebody was going to take a chance on Tua, and they took Tua Tagovailoa at 5. Justin Herbert was 6 to LA, but the drama happened later in the first round with Green Bay. The Packers traded up to get Jordan Love from Utah State. You know, they got Aaron Rodgers, so when that first happened, a lot of people said Aaron Rodgers was upset about it, but Aaron Rodgers actually called the kid. I just looked at the article and congratulated him and everything. Now, I don't know if Aaron Rodgers would have actually really put his arm around the guy. Anytime you draft a quarterback in the first round, no matter if it's a late first round or the number 1 pick, you got some plans with them. Like, you're not going to draft a quarterback that high if you don't expect to play them at some point. So that's a given. You know, they looking to groove him now. They don't know what they're going to do with Favre, even though Favre, when Rodgers had to sit on the bench for 3 years, Favre kept hitting, he was going to retire. So maybe that's why they even drafted Aaron Rodgers in the first place. Even though Aaron Rodgers fell because he was expected to be a number 1 pick. You know, Alex Smith went that year. I think it was 2005, I believe. I think he got picked up by Green Bay as the 24th pick. I think Love was the 26th pick Thursday night. But they traded up to get him. I think they did the same thing to Rodgers that night. They traded up and got him. So some similarities on that front. A lot of people think Aaron Rodgers is over the hill. He does have a lot of injuries. I think this is his about to be his 15th year, 14th, 15th year. Like I said, Aaron Rodgers, that's another debate. You know, when people say he's not as good as they say he is now. The narrative that, as far as talent-wise, like, what I've seen, yeah, he's probably one of the most talented quarterbacks I've ever seen in my life. Like, as far as making certain throws that nobody else can make. Now, my only issue with Aaron Rodgers is the risk of it. Like, I don't think he take enough risk. You know, especially now he got older, he don't take as much risk. He used to take some risk when he was younger. And I think that's why honestly, I think that was part of the reason why he excelled. He knew the time to take the risk, but you know, he always didn't take a lot of risks. You know, he don't throw a lot of deceptions at all, but he took more risks when he was younger. Now he don't mind throwing the ball away, throwing the ball in the dirt. You know, not saying you gotta force the ball in every time, but when he don't see what he want to see, he goes in and get rid of the ball. So, I mean, I guess he's 35, 36. So I guess you could say, yeah, he's on the decline. That's obvious as well. But I don't think he's done. You know, But hopefully we have a football season to even keep talking about this. But I don't think his job is threatened at all. I think the Love kid is still years away anyway. And but maybe once Rodgers' contract is up, that'd be it though. I mean, that's what a lot of people throw it out there. But I don't think he's that upset that people perceive it to be, you know. But I mean, where am I out? You know, you draft a quarterback in the first round. Like I said, you're not just doing that for no reason. Another interesting thing, the Philadelphia Eagles drafted Jalen Hurts. You know, Jalen Hurts, the Alabama quarterback, well, former Alabama quarterback, well, former Oklahoma quarterback as well. But he had success in both places. Won a championship at Alabama. I like him though. I don't think he's, you know, he lost his job to Tua, you know, and the way how Tua turned out, I guess that was the right decision by Nick Saban at Alabama. Went to Oklahoma, still did his thing, you know. Now he's gonna be behind Carson Wentz with Philadelphia. See, this is the difference. Philadelphia already came out and said, even though he was drafted in the second round, so that's also a difference as well. But Philadelphia already came out and said, because Carson Wentz's job, Hurts not a threat, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, the Eagles just won the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. I'm thinking they just want to get another solid guy, like when they had Nick Foles, they want another, and, you know, Jalen Hurts ain't going to cost that much. So if Carson Wentz goes down again, which is definitely possible, maybe they can groom Hurts to be ready to step in for a few games, or if he have to do something for Philadelphia. The Eagles had an interesting draft. You know, they drafted a few receivers and everything. Hopefully Deshaun Jackson come back. Them and Dallas, that's going to be a fight. Dallas, they fell to him at 17. Judy went to the Denver Broncos. Judy from Alabama, Jerry Judy, which was a little bit surprising that they didn't go earlier. But a lot of defensive backs went, and a lot of offensive linemen went. Now I'm gonna speak over this because I'm a Ravens fan. I love what the Ravens have done so far. First round, well, they traded out the first round. Oh no, did they? Hold on. Let me get it straight here. See, that's why I should have wrote some notes. No, they didn't trade out the first round, but who did they take first? The linebacker from LSU, Patrick Queen. There you go, came to me there. He was drafted in the first round, and then, which I couldn't believe, even though he's a running back, J.K. Dobbins from Ohio State fell to 3, I believe, in the second round, so the Ravens picked him up. They got a receiver from Texas. They still got another defensive lineman, which I didn't think they need one. Then we got plenty of defensive linemen. Our defensive line should be pretty much virtually unstoppable next year, this season. And they got an offensive lineman, so I think they filled all the needs. I think they need to still focus on maybe get another receiver. Maybe still focus on the offensive line, just for kicks. Like I said, I think they drafted 2 linebackers so far. Maybe get somebody in the secondary, because our secondary been sort of beat up with Jimmy Smith getting hurt, and like I said, you never know when Earl Thomas will go down as well. So I'll probably buffer that with the picks they got left as well. Just speaking as a Raven fan, but a lot of teams did well. Like I said, I think the Miami Dolphins did well. I like what Detroit did. Small things I see them do. So we'll see. It was interesting. Of course, the rounds 4 through 7 is at noon. So I'll probably check that out if I'm not asleep, because I'm gonna take a nap after this, man. Like I said, since this quarantine stuff goes on, I work pretty much 24, 36 hours straight. So I need to get some sleep, man. I think that's why I've been a little irritated, things of that nature. But it was just so glad to see some live sport event, even though it wasn't an actual game on TV. Like I said, they did the draft, so they did it different. Roger Goodell in his house, all the teams, they coach a GM, they at home on a computer. So it's a virtual draft. So to me, it's like your fantasy draft. Get on your phone, on your computer, When it's your time, you go, you navigate through the menu, pick your player that you want, and keep it moving. I think there's probably something similar to that. If I had to guess, but the NFL did a good job with it, and a lot of people donated. They got a relief fund going on for the pandemic as well. They said they raised a lot in the millions of dollars just the last few days. So that's good to hear as well. So NFL did a great job. Like I said, I just hope we have some football this fall. Don't want to be the pessimistic type, but I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if it's at least so. But I'm hoping that's not the case. Hopefully days get better from here on. Like I said, here in Maryland, it's gotten a little worse as far as the cases and the deaths. So, but I think, well, what they also telling us is it's more, now we have access to more tests. So, of course, that's why it's more cases, known cases. So that's actually a good thing as well, because people walking around don't know that they have it. So but I'm just grateful. Like I said, I've been grateful for still being able to work. Thank my sister for that, and also just try to keep sane, man. And so I'm just grateful, paid that, it's a little side, well, technically this is just a little side job, but I'm still grateful I'm able to work. And like I said, I think everybody, as far as the social distancing, I admit I haven't been done. I have been out going crazy, like going anywhere. I go, even before this happened, I used to really just go one place. Is a friend of mine's house, and my brother's house was just close to here, so I could walk actually to his house. Only two places I've been in, probably in stores and stuff. I'm gonna run to the store in a couple of hours after I take this nap for real. And I've been trying to stay safe. Been wearing my, now it's mandatory for you to wear a mask. I've been wearing my mask, trying to stay safe. And just, watch yourself. That's all. But at the same time, once you go, like I was explaining to somebody, you go outside, it's a risk. No matter where you going at, what you try to do. If you go somewhere you normally go, it's a risk when you leave the house. Period. More of a risk like me. I catch public transportation. That's a high risk. So I just try to be cautious and just follow the rules, and that's all I've been trying to do since this been going on. Like I said, it's just been rough with the no sports, and like I said, a lack of sleep. They've been the two things that have been killing me. My migraines been coming back, so been dealing with that. But other than that, I've been holding on. I hope y'all been holding on too. Staying safe, staying out of trouble. If you work, still going to work. If you lost your job, your little stimulus package came already. A lot of people have gotten theirs. Or unemployment, which has been a big hold up as well, but I heard they fixed that. They built a new website for that, so maybe that's easy to get as well, easier for everybody. So hopefully everybody's been safe and still been able to maintain their lives, which has been tough. But I wanted to get over here, like I said, talk about the draft, talk about the Bulls documentary and everything. So I'm glad I got to get those things off my chest. And like I said, I've been good, so I appreciate, like I said, I've been still getting comments and stuff. So I appreciate you guys still coming to the channel. Once, it's not even got nothing to do with the pandemic. Once, it does, so I guess because it takes more of my time, but I don't know, I want to, get back into the flow of doing some video game playthroughs, so once I do that, I will, and I try to, like I said, the blog, like I said, until sports start getting back to normal again, there's no need in me coming on here every week to really talk about nothing, But I might get on every week just because the Bulls documentary, because like I said, I was shocked how they treat Scotty. I don't even think I talked about that much Man, they treated Scotty dirty. Well, like I said they treat everybody dirty. I think I left it alone. But Scotty Pippen for sure. I didn't know how underpaid he was. I had no idea. I mean, I was a kid, so I didn't really pay attention to like car tracks when I was watching sports back then, or you know, things of that nature, or off the court stuff. I didn't pay attention to any of that stuff. I just was like, wow, you know, I knew he was underappreciated just because of Mike, you know, period. But to be underpaid like that, I understand he had to take, well, what was it, 7 years, $18 million at the time, and where he came from, he needed the money. But I think the Bulls sort of manipulated, but the Bulls should have known, you know, come on, man, they should have took care of Scotty, man. Like I said, they didn't want to pay Michael either. You know, Michael got his money at the end, but yeah, it was crazy, man. Like all the behind the scenes stuff is just makes it very fascinating. So I'll definitely be watching the next few episodes again. But that's gonna do it. I think I've stayed on as longer than I thought, which I always do. I always say I'm gonna try to be short as possible, and I get to talking. But I thank you guys so much, like I said, for the support. I'll go ahead and put this video together, put it up for you guys. Thank you for everybody who's still been rolling with me throughout everything. I hope you're safe. And I'll talk to you next time. Stay safe. And thank you guys for the support. I'm Troy West. Enjoy your weekend. I'll see you next time. Maybe I'll see you next week. Like I said, I'm going to watch the Bulls documentary. If it's something that blows my mind, I'll come back over here and talk about it. Or if something else happened with the NFL, with the draft today or something, I'll get back on next week and talk. So thank you guys so much. And stay safe. And God bless. And take care of one another. Thank you so much. Social distancing. See you guys later.